All right, we will get started with the NIU Women's Basketball Postgame Press Conference. Thanks for being with us. Shelby Coker joins us now, and we'll go straight to questions for Shelby. And we'll start with you, Justin Kelly from the Northern Star.
Shelby, this is back-to-back games. You guys really didn't have that many opportunities from behind the arc. What are some of the things in both games Kent State was really limited you guys doing so you guys can get those shots off?
Their ball screen coverage was really good, and they were hedging, and that's something we haven't seen in a while. So I think they did a good job returning to that, which is a little bit different. That kind of limited some of our shots.
Yesterday, I talked to Johnny about Mariah Modkins. She's really, I mean, for her size, she's a really good on-ball defender. And then on the offensive side, she's able to really get in the lane and kind of get to the rim. What was your perspective of playing her for the first time this season so far?
She's really fast, so I think that helps her out where maybe height doesn't. So I think that her quickness is what helps her stay in front on defense, and just trying to stay in front of her on offense is what makes her overcome the height.
Shelby, this is the first time you guys have played back-to-back days. I know it's not the outcome that you guys were looking for, but how is it important for you guys to kind of get in that mode where you guys are going to have to play day-to-day in the conference tournament coming up here pretty soon?
It's just another preparation thing that prepares us for the future. So I think, we did it against Eastern and Western Illinois as well. So I think, that time and this time, it just helps us do it in the future.
Shelby, you guys have come back here, play against Ball State. That's another really good team. What are some of the things you expect and prepare for Ball State coming up?
Just take the next game as it is, and we'll get back at practice, work really hard, and we'll just take it as another game.
Thank you, Shelby. That's all I had.
Thanks, Shelby. And we're joined by Paula Castro, and we'll take questions. Go ahead, and Justin, with your questions for Paula.
Paulina, today you really had you had a pretty good day from behind the arc. You probably made all three of your attempts. What are some of the things that you saw that you were able to do from behind the three-point line to have success?
My teammates just found me when I was open. We were able to get them to move in rotation, and they found me in the open window.
As we both know, rebounding is, especially on this team, is a big team factor. Today, you guys were, the first time in a long time, you guys were out rebounding. What are some things you guys might work on in the next couple of days to kind of get back in that groove? Because this is the first time in a long time you guys have been out rebounded by a considerable amount.
Yeah, we're going to do what we do in practice, and we just have to emphasize rebounding. We don't like giving up second chances, so that's just going to be a point of emphasis, and we just have to get back to what we do and box out and rebound.
I'm going to ask you the same question as Shelby, the last one. This is like your third or fourth time playing back-to-back games. How important is it kind of getting that mode when it comes to conference tournament time? Because I know you had the first stretch of tournaments and then COVID implications. How important is it to stay prepared for day-to-day games?
Kind of like Shelby said, it's a good learning experience, but it just comes down to preparation. We just have to be ready, and we'll be ready for it in the future.
Thanks, Paulina. That's all I had.
Thank you, Paulina. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and we're joined now by head coach Lisa Carlsen. Coach, thank you for being with us, and please start us off with a statement about today's game.
Well, I think you have to give all the credit to Kent. It was pretty evident in that first quarter, maybe who was more ready to play. It was quite an offensive display, to say the least. And we put ourselves in the hole really early. And that's tough to dig out of. It also gives your team a lot of confidence and enthusiasm, I guess, when you shoot that well. And then when we were able to get some stops, we just really couldn't get our offense going consistently. And then, like I know you guys have mentioned with the players, we haven't been out rebounded like that in a very long time. And unfortunately, that was also a huge part of the game.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We'll go to questions from Justin from the Northern Star.
Coach, you kind of alluded to that first quarter, but I wanted to know how you feel about the 4 of the starting 5 can really score and then score at kind of will. You have Blackford down, can get to the rim, and then you have Kelly and Thal who really can shoot the ball from beyond the arc really, really well. I mean, even contested, they shot the ball really well. Where would you rank this so far? I mean, this is probably one of the top best starting 5s I've seen you played so far this season. I don't know if you could rank it or this conference is really competitive.
Well, they've had success at times really shooting it well from the perimeter. I believe they played Ohio early in the year and had 17 threes. So they're more than capable of shooting it deep and shooting it contested, like you mentioned. Unfortunately for us, fortunately for them, offensively shooting is such a momentum changer and a confidence builder. And once you see a couple go down, or you see a couple of your teammates have a couple of them go down, you want to be in on the party, and like you mentioned, they have a lot of different people who can shoot it well from behind the arc. And it was just the snowball effect once that got going. I will say, obviously that changed a little bit in the second, third, and fourth quarter. But those were the times that we needed to then find our flow on the offensive end. And again, give Kent credit defensively. They just really never let us get going.
Coach, a big aspect of your team's success this season has been rebounds. Today was not you guys really didn't have that success today. You out rebounded 42-23, and then on the offensive side, they out rebounded you. I mean, with offensive rebounds, they out rebounded you 14-4. Is that something you guys really need to think about before you play Ball State, or let's go from here?
Well, it's a little bit of an anomaly. It's not something that's happened to us very often. Is it a big factor? Absolutely. And I don't necessarily have an answer. Some of our better rebounders weren't very efficient on the boards today. Without Aaron in the lineup, that definitely makes a difference in a lot of different ways. We won't use that as an excuse, but it's definitely a factor. And rebounding the basketball is one of those things that she does really well for us. She also rebounds and then is able to lead the break and helps us obviously in offensive transition. So, there's a lot of factors to today's game that go into, Kent State really taking it to us. And you've mentioned quite a few of those.
Coach, what is your message to your team after kind of losing back to games like this? I know it can be a little bit more demoralizing after, especially being arguably the hottest team in the MAC, now losing 2 back-to-back, and now have Ball State, who's really well here again Wednesday.
Well, I think at this point, with 4 games left in the regular season, you really have to think about preparation for Cleveland and making a run at the MAC tournament. Some of that is health and rest. We need to get some pieces back, unfortunately, for the weekend. And I think we will. So I feel good about that. But you also need your key people to be as fresh as possible this time of year. Not anybody is going to feel great during the college basketball season when it's this late, but putting yourself in position to be as rested and ready to go as possible. And after a weekend like this, that's probably the most critical factor. I think you have to evaluate, learn from, but have a pretty short memory, because you got to kind of amp up to start playing good basketball again in order to make a run later.
Thanks, Coach. That's all I had.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks very much, Lisa. I think that takes care of us for today.
All right, thanks.
Get it.